Welcome to our training on creating assessments with assessment questions. We will start off at our home screen just like we do when we log in. This time we'll be focusing on our assessments section. We're going to click on the assessments button and it will bring us to our assessments screen. You'll notice at the top left hand side we do have the title of assessments. Underneath that, you'll see an orange insert button. This is where we will start and begin creating a new assessment. So if you would click on the orange insert button, you'll notice it'll take you to a general tab within the creation of the assessment screen. The top visibility state, workflow state, and school are all default settings. That is something that you don't have to worry about setting up for you. The description is the title of the test. In this case, we're going to name it Sample Test. These special instructions are special instructions for the student. For example, if you want them to use a number 2 pencil, we would say, please use a number 2 pencil. The date is today's date, or the date the test was created, and the type would be depending upon which type of test you're giving. In this case, it's just a teacher-created test, so we will click on Teacher. The year should be this school year. The grade, I'm going to choose 12 for this one. And the subject, I think we'll stick with art. Once that is done, we will click Save on the top right-hand side, make sure all of our work is saved. And you'll notice we have some extra tabs appear over here once the save has refreshed. We have our original General tab, a Questions tab, a Grade Conversion Table tab, and an Attachments tab. We're going to start with the Attachments tab and work our way left. This is where you would upload any files that you need for the test. For example, if you were giving a social studies test, you may need an essay booklet. If you're giving a math test, you may need a reference page. Regardless of what, if anything, you need to upload, you would do it here within this attachment section. You just click Upload File, find the file that you need, and open or upload into this area. You can attach music files or videos here as well if needed. The next section, and once you do that, you would click Save. The next section we're going to look at is the grade conversion table. There are two different options for the grade conversion table. They are a 4-level grade table or a secondary grade table, which is a 5-level grade table. Usually we use 4-level for primary and obviously the secondary grade table, as it says, for secondary. We are going to take a look at the secondary grade table as this is a grade 12 level test that I have labeled, and I'm going to click Create from Selected Grade Default Table. A pop-up will appear stating that this operation will remove the current grade table that is linked to this test and replace it with this one, which is totally okay because we don't have any students linked to this test currently, so we won't be changing any scores. So you can click OK. You'll notice this grade table will appear. We have 5 different levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are labeled by color. The bottom 2 are red. We have a purple, a blue, and a green. Many people will notice that there is no yellow, and also that 2 of them are labeled red. There are 2 reasons for that. First and foremost, there is no yellow because whatever the student scores on the assessment is printed in that color. So let's say, for example, the student scored below a 55. That student's name, that student's ID number, and all other student information, including their score and their percentage on this assessment, will be printed in that color. Yellow is very hard to read when printed, therefore we don't use it. And the other reason that these 2 are red, that you may notice, is because they fall within 2 different grade tables, 0 to 54 and 55 to 64. We have labeled them both red because they are both failing grades, regardless of how you look at it. You're more than welcome to change these if you wish. All you need to do is filter down and change the color however you prefer. You will notice 2 other things as well, and I get this question a lot. Number 1, this grade scale over here is a little bit different from this minimum and maximum percent. Well, that leads me to number 2. You want to make sure that the grade scale on the left here is the way you want it, because this is just giving you a range. This is the actual scale on which the student's name, ID number, and all of their student information is linked to the color. So just make sure you edit that as needed. Once you're done, you're going to click Save. And that will save all of the information that you need for your grade conversion table. If you wanted to do a 4-level grade table, you could filter down and do a 4-level. You'll notice that this refreshed to a 4-level grade table. That's just the top filter. It's not actually making a 4-level grade table, you still have a 5-level grade table here. But if you did want the 4-level, you could filter back down, change it, click OK, and there's our 4-level. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our minimum percent, our max percent, and our colors. If that's what you like, you click Save. Next is our Questions tab. This is the main part of our test, and this is where you will be spending a lot of time when creating assessments. The first thing we're going to show you is how to add questions. Let's say this test, we're adding in 5 multiple choice questions and 1 teacher scored question. Well, we can do that very easily by adding in those 5 multiple choice at once. So we're going to say 5 multiple choice questions we'd like to add. We're going to make sure this is multiple choice. You have the option of doing letter ABC or numeric 1, 2, 3. I'm going to choose letter ABC. I want the students to have 4 choices, so they have A, B, C, and D, and the default number of points is the default point value per question, not total. So I want each question to be worth 1 point. I'm going to add those into my test. You'll notice it loads for a moment, and you will see my 5 multiple choice questions. Well, I still need to add in a teacher scored question or a short answer question, so I'm going to add in 1 teacher scored question or short answer question valued at 1 point. I'm going to wait for it to load and refresh. And there's my teacher scored question. There are a couple of different things to look at here. Number 1 is our answer info section. This is where our bubble sheets are created from. So you want to make sure that all of these things on the left-hand side are correct. What type of question it is, the number of choices, the answer, and the point value. You can change that either here on a brand new question, or you can change it by diving into the actual question. You can dive into the actual question by double-clicking on the empty question text, or by clicking this plus. That brings us into our actual question area. You'll notice on the top here, the grade level is 12. That's a default setting that we set when we were in our General tab. Over on the right-hand side here are all default settings. You don't have to worry about those. You also don't have to worry about the visibility state or the subject. What you do need to focus on are the points, the type, the number of choices, and the correct answer. You want to make sure that these match all of the information over here. The point value looks good. We want it as 1 point. I wanted a multiple choice letter, so that looks good to me too. I want 4 choices, and my correct answer is going to be answer B. So I will scroll down from here. You'll see our standards box appear. This is something that we'll talk about at a later date, so we're going to just skip right by that. Next is our question text box. So whatever your question is where you would type it or copy and paste into here. You can copy and paste in eDoctrina. Just a quick reminder, you need to use Control-C as in cat for copy and Control-V as in victory for paste. But in this instance, I'm just going to type, so what kind of animal is Spot? There's my question, and now I'm going to go down and fill in my multiple choices. So let's say cat, dog, mouse, and snake. There are my multiple choices. You'll notice I didn't have to add in A, B, C, or D. That is because eDoctrina automatically does that for me. I also don't have to add in the number question it is. eDoctrina will automatically number it for me as well. One last thing that you'll notice at the bottom of your question box is that there is a scoring guide located at the bottom. Now we are doing a multiple choice question. You don't need to fill in the scoring guide. This is just something that's a default set in case you do need a scoring guide for questions that you're putting in. Multiple choices have correct answers that are clearly visible, so we again do not need to fill in a scoring guide for multiple choice answers. If we're done, we click Save and Save and Close. Again, our screen will refresh and load, and you'll notice we now have our question in our test. There are a couple of different things that are different between question 1 and question 2 right now. Number 1, they have the question located within the preview section. Number 2, you'll notice in the answer info section, the information that you have labeled is now there instead of being an option over here like in question 2. You're more than welcome to change that later on if you needed to. All you need to do is double click on the text or click the edit pencil to get back into that question and change those. The reason why these are different now is because this question has been created, this one has not. If you wanted to create another question, let's say we wanted to do this as a teacher scored question instead of a multiple choice. Well, you're more than welcome to change it here or just go into the question and change it right here. Let's make this teacher scored. And we have a little change here on the left-hand side. Instead of the number of choices, we have number of lines for response area. The default setting is 4. You're more than welcome to change that as you wish. This is an art test, so I'm not actually going to have any lines for a response area because I want them to draw something. So I'm going to change that to 0, and I'm going to say, no, I don't want lines to print on the test. So then I'm going to go down and ask the question. It's not really going to be a question in this case. I'm just going to ask them to draw a circle. Then you will notice instead of having multiple choice boxes, I have a scoring guide. So we would just need to put a picture of a circle on the scoring guide. That's what the student needs to draw to make sure that they drew a circle. I'm going to click Save and Save and Close. Again, my screen will refresh, and there is my multiple choice question and my teacher scored question. If I need to edit those at any point, again, I double click on any of the text, or I click my edit pencil. If you would like to see what your test looks like so far, you're more than welcome to click Print Test. Within eDoctrina, anytime you click Print Test, it'll always take you to a print preview, so you don't have to worry about just automatically sending things to the printer, which is very nice. You'll notice a couple of things on this pop-up here. The first is the assessment questions box is checked. That is correct. You always want that checked because that actually prints those questions on your paper. The next is the assessment map report. That is our scoring guide, so you want to make sure that's checked if you would like to see the scoring guide along with your test. The next section here is our report version. We always work with PDF one column. It's the easiest to see and it doesn't squish any of our pictures. So PDF one column is the choice you would like for that one. You click print and it will take you to our print preview. This is what our test looks like. So far, we only have question 1 and question 2 filled in. So question 3, 4, 5, and 6 don't have anything there yet. So we only have one page of our test filled out. You'll notice name and date always prints at the top, as well as the title of the test and the special instructions for the student. Below is our assessment map. Again, our question 1 is answer B, and that will give 1 point to the student. Question 2 is a short answer question or a teacher scored question, so there is no specific answer. They just need to draw a circle. That's worth 1 point. The teacher scores that on their own. That is creation of our assessment. Once you're done in this screen, if you're finished working on that assessment, you would click Save here. And then you would click Save and Close. And your assessment is complete. It will take you back to your normal assessment screen. And you are all set with creation of assessment and assessment questions. If you have any questions you need to have answered by us, you're more than welcome to contact us at Broom Tioga BOCES. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.